Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Davinci Jeremy, and you've joined the Daily HODL Show, where we're going to be talking about crypto, Bitcoin, and a whole bunch of other things with my guest, Mr. M. If he's finally in the studio. Well, not quite in the studio.
Kind of.
He's actually at his studio, right?
Exactly.
Head over to his podcast, subscribe, right? Hit the like, head over and watch some videos right now. And well, let me see if I can control my own computer. There we go. And then also, if you're interested in trading, you can also head over to x.davinci15.com. Links in the description below. Let's get on to the news. No, actually, what's this? Peter Schiff just sold his account to CZ for more cash to buy gold. This is good. This is a Street Fighter for those who don't know, right? There we go. I guess that's CZ and Peter Schiff with his gold blocker.
Yeah, I guess it's because of the debate tonight, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's going to be interesting now, isn't it? Alrighty. Okay. Next one we have. Well, let's see here. Next up we have. Bitcoin's Bollinger Bands repeat parabolic bull signal from the late 2023. This is crazy because here's the thing. This is good news and bad news at the same time here. Hang on. Let me just turn up his volume because I can't barely hear him.
People saying the echo is back.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what I can do? I can just leave
hang
the
on,
computer.
because then I have to reduce your volume, and then there you go. Say something.
Oh, if not, I can just leave the computer and just be a guest into eCam because now the screen is shared. That will fix it.
Yeah, but there we go. The echo's gone, right?
I think it's still there.
Because come on, man. Half the people say it's there, half the people say it's not. This is why we need to listen to it on our own, right? So that we know what exactly is it. It says the echo's back.
Because now that the stream is set, I can just leave your computer and I can just be a guest into eCam Live. That's it. That should fix it.
Okay, there it is. It says it's better now.
Okay, cool. There's a mixed signal. If anything, you can just leave your computer and just be a normal guest anyway. That will be
okay.
No echo. Okay, echo is gone. Okay, now it's good. People are saying it's okay.
Okay.
But if it comes back, I can just leave your remote.
All right, so let's just continue. Okay, so
perfect.
With the Bollinger Bands, right? What's happening, right, is that they're tightening. So it doesn't show you them on the screen, right? Bollinger Bands are two bands between the mean. I use them all the time in my trades, right? I can show you that right here. I know this is a mess, but let's see here. If we come up with this screen here, and then we go auto, you can see the Bollinger Bands on the hourly are tightening, right? And so this tightening of the bands, right, generally means that the market's about to make a big move. On the hourly, it's about to make a big move. We're going to talk about where that move is and how to play that next move in my next video that I'm going to be recording and will be available for the people on b4b.dj15.com. All right, so this is the good news, but the bad news is that, well, it could go either way.
Either up or down, right?
Exactly. We don't know which way it's going to go, either up or down. Yes. Okay. Bitcoin now settles Visa scale volumes, but most is for wholesale, not for coffee. I'm really, that's interesting. So Bitcoin has settled almost 7 trillion in the past 90 days, more than Visa has, right? And it has grown as an alternative to a traditional settlement network, but its global merchant adoption remains only a fraction of the institutional's giants. Okay. You know where I'm going with this, right? Right, Maurizio?
I have an idea.
Does it matter? Did you participate in that 7 trillion of movement in the last 90 days? Probably not, right? Unless you're dollar cost averaging, probably not. But I want to ask you something. If we were to sum up in the last 90 days, all the bond movements, right? we were talking like it was saying just for September, October, it was 129 trillion in 2 months. So really it's around 200 trillion in 90 days. Please place a 1 in the comment section, or in your, if you were the one who bought one of those bonds, please share with us, because I'm not gonna. I can't raise my hand on that one. I don't think. Can you raise your hand on that one, Marissa?
No, I can't.
Can you?
I can't. No.
Right. Okay. So which one is more significant? Right. Visa, which settles less than 7 trillion, right? Or the bond market, which settles 200 trillion. Which is more important to monetary system stability? Please help me understand that. Which one's more important? Oh, yeah. You mean the 200 trillion that you're not participating in?
Maybe just a little. Maybe just a little bit. Damn, these articles are getting really interesting, by the way.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So funny, right?
Yeah, it's a good example to raise at the bonds, because that 130 trillion, I don't think many people have bought coffee with that. So just saying, emphasis on not coffee.
Exactly.
Crazy. Damn. Gensler, is he back?
Yes. He's come back. They dusted him off, right? To say that, yeah, I'm separating Bitcoin from the pack, but I'm calling all the other cryptos out as highly speculative. In a Bloomberg interview. Oh, Bloomberg. Yes, you'll learn that if it's Bloomberg, you might want to tune it out, right? I mean, we've talked about it. It's Financial Times and Bloomberg are two key areas that if they say something, you might want to go, suspect.
Yeah, double checking could be a good idea, right?
Let me do some research on that one. That's information that you provide.
Just in case.
Okay. Yes, and you will probably notice something off. So whilst they're probably just saying, hey, you know what, stay out of. They're just basically saying you could probably get into Bitcoin, but stay out of other cryptos, though.
Fair enough. Do you know what Gary's up to now that he's been kicked out from the SEC? Do you know what he's doing, or is he
No, I
taking
don't
some
know,
time?
but he's probably teaching, right? You know, those who can't
probably
teach, right? So, anyways, buy some sats instead, right? Since they're saying, hey, stay with Bitcoin, right? Fine, stick with Bitcoin. But if you don't feel that you can't afford Bitcoin, now I've made it affordable for you with Satoshis, right? You can buy $1 worth. So don't tell me you can't dollar cost average $1 per day or $1 per week. Do that. If $1 per week is all you can afford, do that. Into Satoshis right now. Okay.
1,075 sats per $1 right there. It's amazing.
Yeah. Right? You're seeing big numbers grow. And when you are doing that small $1 a week, right? And all of a sudden there'll be a day when people go, what? You did that? Oh, damn, how did you know? You got lucky.
Of course.
Then you might want to smack them across the head, right? Because that takes work, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
To actually do something, which most of you all don't do anything, it does. I mean, even I get into the point where I know something that I'm supposed to do and I don't do it. So it happens to everybody. So I expect it from you guys. If it happens to me, it happens to everybody. You know what you're supposed to do, but you don't do it anyways, right? And then you lose, and you're wondering why you're losing all the time. There it is. Okay, you're gonna go into the strategy situation here. Strategy: Bitcoin buys collapse. Company braces for bear market. Says this dumbass Atlantis.
Damn. The old good FUD on strategy continues.
Exactly. I'm wondering if I were to go, I wanted to do the, I want to come over here. Because I've changed the volume and it seems to work, what if I were to do this, guys? Change it to the main stereo so I can go, no, they didn't quite get that.
Yeah.
Okay, they can hear that, right? Yes?
That might trigger an echo though.
Exactly. Hopefully I didn't add the echo back in, but yeah. Anyways, Strategy's largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, Strategy, the largest holder of Bitcoin, has showed its rate of cryptocurrency accumulation in 2025, a move analysts at the CryptoQuant interpret as preparation for a drawn-out bear market. Let me get this straight. He's about to say, right? I'm going to guess here that they bought less Bitcoin than they did in 2024, right? What do you think? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Okay. The monthly purchase fell from 34,000 BTC in 2024 to a peak of 9,100 in 2025 to only 135 so far this month. A 24-month buffer makes one thing clear. They're bracing for a severe market. Oh my God.
What?
So let me get this straight. If I have $1 billion, right? And I was buying Bitcoin. I have a regime of buying Bitcoin every month for $1 billion of Bitcoin. And the price happens to be 40,000 last year on average. And they're now 100,000 a year on average. Do you think I will get more Bitcoin or less Bitcoin?
Yeah, exactly. And also the price of Bitcoin has changed, right? So what? They shouldn't measure how many Bitcoins they have. They should measure how much money, if anything, they injected into this asset because there's volatility.
You notice how he did that, right?
Yeah.
We saw through that, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't even read this article beforehand. But I already knew where he was going and that he was going to lie and cheat and do some sort of like Jedi mind trick on the average dumb, deaf, and retarded. Right?
Smoking mirror. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow is right. Yeah. And he's, bruh.
Well, Kramer comes out and says something. I mean, technically, this is good for strategy, right? Technically.
Not really.
I mean, really? It depends if you believe the inverse Kramer or not.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I mean, can't you just talk? You talk badly about NVIDIA. It looks like NVIDIA stock might go crazy.
Exactly. I was about to say it's time to long NVIDIA.
Exactly.
At this point.
And I thought it was time to short NVIDIA, man. The bubble's about to pop, but Jesus, this guy he just put rocket boosters on NVIDIA stock, right?
Exactly.
And he pressed the down button for this strategy.
Sell strategy.
Here's the elevator strategy. Here, let me press the button for you. Oh, oops, sorry, it's down. Well, you could always come back up later.
Damn. When was this? This was said yesterday, right? So
yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see what happens to MSTR today. But interesting.
Okay, strategy CEO selling Bitcoin is Plan Z. We accumulated. Price agnostic. Yes, we don't care about the price. Yes, that's the way you should be doing, accumulating your Bitcoin. And yes, they are basically, they're throwing this into the water that, we're going to sell Bitcoin. And that's a scam. That's a scam.
Exactly. Do you think it's possible someone said, you got to go back into the news and say something? Because the other day he came up and he said, we're going to sell if so-and-so. So maybe he got a tap on the shoulder, say, hey, you can't say that. You need to go back and say, we are going to sell Plan Z. It was supposed to be Plan B, right? So, yeah, maybe he got a message.
Yeah, maybe. That might be it.
He woke up with a horse in his bed, kind of. One of those.
Oh, my goodness. Michael Saylor is built different. I'm like, did he really say on July 3rd, 2002, MicroStrategies fell to an all-time low of 42 cents. Yesterday, it closed at, $421.88. That's 1,000x, guys. Mish.
And this was tweeted
over how many years
ago? This was tweeted a year ago, November 23rd, 2024. Because now strategy is not $420. Definitely not.
Yeah, it's more than that, right?
No, less than 420. I
You
think
think
it's
so?
like way less. Yeah, way less. Let me check, because there's been a huge correction. How much? How much is MSTR trading at?
That's interesting. They got screwed.
Let's see. $188.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you, but I am going to be at Bitcoin Mina in Abu Dhabi on December 8th through the 9th. I'm going to actually be there for the 9th where I'm going to be speaking. If you want to meet up with me, you can. And if you're interested in getting some Bitcoin, I am going to give away some Bitcoin to anybody who asks. Small amount. I'm going to give you some TSATS, of course. So I just want you to share the love with TSATS, right? It's just Bitcoin, but on Solana. And if you want a discount on these tickets, big discount, you just use the code Davinci, Davinci. Links are in the description below. See you there. Oh, they took a little bit of a beating.
Yep. Yeah, but not as bad. Not as bad as 42 cents, of course. But yeah, MSTR 189 almost. Yeah. So
All right, let's take
Still.
a listen to what the strategist and MicroStrategy is saying. Oops, can you hear that?
no, I don't have audio.
I don't have an audio either.
You might want to go on the old.
Yeah, it's not. There's nothing. We had audio before, right?
We had, yes.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that might trigger the echo again, because you have to open the old mixer.
There's nothing.
You're the largest corporate holder of
There you go.
Bitcoin in the world. What's your advice to us? And can we work
Now we
together?
have it.
There we go.
And
There
to
we
the
go.
extent
Okay, there.
To that point, Fong, I mean, have you held any preliminary talks with lending platforms or other potential partners to handle those logistics?
we've had a lot of constructive discussions. They've primarily been of the, hey, we're thinking about offering Bitcoin services, custody, exchange, lending, et cetera. You're the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin in the world. What's your advice to us? And can we work together? And to the extent they're large, U.S.-based banks that have a lot of history and a strong balance sheet, we're very excited to partner with them.
To that point, Fong, I mean, have you held any preliminary talks with lending platforms or other potential partners?
All right, sorry. A little bit. I got a little distracted there with all your questions, and I wanted to highlight some of them. But yeah. Okay. Well, that was a nothing burger. I was expecting a little bit more excitement.
Yeah, I know.
What did you
right?
think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Saylor had a better take on the banks. I think you have a video you want to play later,
Yeah, exactly.
which is probably more interesting.
Bitcoin's strongest trading day since May cues possible rally to 107K. Yes. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say 107K. I'm going to say that there's a possible rally. But if you want to see it, you're going to have to watch the other video where I'm going to be discussing that possible rally and how to trade it. And if you're interested in trading, you can trade it at x.dj15.com. Links in the description below where you could actually, check out all the different exchanges I support. Okay, moving on to breaking. Satoshi era whale just bought 33,000 BTC after 15 years of dormancy. He become active for the first time since 2010 and spent 3.1 billion to buy Bitcoin on multiple wallets. He definitely knows where we're going higher now. What do you think about that?
Well, that's a super interesting one, because usually we see OG selling Bitcoin, not buying Bitcoin. So this guy knows what's up, right? To do such a humongous purchase, 3.1 billion.
Oh yeah,
That's a lot of,
yes, he does. I think he's like most of us. Well, I mean, maybe not most of us, but I think there's a lot of other OGs like me, right? That when I wanted to buy a new car, and I could have just buy a new car cash, right? I did, and I didn't need the new car. I just wanted it, right? But that was like 1 Bitcoin's worth for that new car. And I was thinking, do I want to give up a Bitcoin for a car when I know it's going to go 100x from here? So I'll get 100 of the same car
in a few years. Yeah.
I'm thinking, how about no? And because we all know the golden rule, right? Those who's got the gold makes the rules, right? And I'm sorry, guys. You know this. That you don't, we could point out all kinds of crazy laws, right? that you guys don't like. And the only reason they're in place is because you don't got the money to put them there. Somebody else does. You don't got the money to fight against them. Somebody else does. If you did have the money, right, those laws wouldn't be there. Plain and simple. So go get the money by buying Bitcoin. And if you don't understand, right, why you need to get the money, why you need to get Bitcoin and store it away, well, I have a seminar to explain all that, right? At, it's right above there, join.davinci15.com. And you'll understand with our school, with this educational program, why you have to absolutely just stop all the noise as much as you possibly can. I'm not saying that you can never do anything at all with money, right? With your wealth that you accumulate. And that's not true. That's not realistic. But always take the time to think, right? Is it really necessary? Is it truly part of what you want, right? When you make a purchase, a large purchase at least, right? So, because man, the amount of the power you get when you have wealth is unbelievable, right? And we want you, because most people are good people, to have that power so that, the people who have free money printing, free printer money, they don't get the power. You do. Because if they get the power, we're all screwed. And if you don't believe that, I have 2 words for you. Epstein list.
Yeah, what's said? Plus, the webinar is free, so there is no excuses, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
No excuses.
Exactly. Okay. Justin, CryptoQuant CEO, says Bitcoin is unlikely to see. Didn't we hear from this guy already?
I think so. I love the logic here. Well, if Saylor strategy holds 650,000 Bitcoin, probably if the bear comes, the downside won't be, as the one we've seen before, but will be smaller.
I could have sworn this same guy was talking nonsense about Bitcoin they're not buying anymore, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and I would argue the fact that strategy holds 650,000 Bitcoin has nothing to do with the fact that volatility is going to diminish. I mean, it might be a factor into a wall of reasons, but I don't think it will be number one if you would ask me.
Because it would be in the hands of other people who just want to hold.
Exactly. So
dumb.
Yeah. But I do agree with the statement, not with the conclusion. I agree with the fact that if there is going to be a bear market, or when there's going to be a bear market, more than because there's going to be a bear market, I guess. If we have not seen the banana zone, we won't see most likely a bigger retracement. Unless we pump crazy into 200,000 next year, then we will see probably a higher drop coming in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. New Zealand teaches crypto in schools, right? Hey, it's time to teach crypto, right? But we also, right, in the meantime, crypto millionaire and his wife watched each other being tortured to death before bodies were found in the desert here in Dubai. Not Dubai, but the UAE. Okay, so kids don't buy crypto, of course. That's the model, because that happens every single day, right? 10 times a day, actually. Never mind. Oh, wait. Didn't we check that with ChatGPT? And we said, hey, can you give us some information on that? And what did it say? Right? Can you read that, Mr. M?
Let me make it bigger because I can see it on the screen. Thus, likely the number of people killed specifically because of their crypto holding is extremely small compared to the total homicides, but we have no robust number.
Yes. No, it's so insignificant, right? That it doesn't have, it probably happens once or twice a year. And yet they make it seem like, because everybody and their mother has sent me this article. Everyone.
Yeah,
and their mother,
same. Yeah, same.
Right? As if this is the only thing that ever happens to people.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, besides, of course, it's terrible what happened, and I'm so sorry about this couple.
It is terrible.
But the thing is, as you know, we don't even know who these people are.
Yes,
and like
we do.
You said,
yes, we do.
And no, I mean in a sense that when people read just the headlines and then nothing else,
Exactly.
I don't have any information in regards. The only thing is clear is if you have crypto, you're risking. You are
exactly. You're somebody's going to kill you for it. Exactly. But the reality is, these people were scammed $500 million from Russians. That's what they did. They did it together. Okay, that's a little bit that's a little bit on the extreme. So to steal from people, right? So I'm not sure, but if I stole from Russians $500 million, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they might want to kill me. Maybe.
I think it might come.
I know Russian peoples are really nice. They probably wouldn't want to do that, but they might.
Yeah, I think if you steal $500 million to anyone, I'm sure there's going to be repercussions. So instead of saying something like this, they should have said couple that stole money got killed, right? But yeah, like you said, there's probably focus on making people afraid of owning crypto to begin with, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh boy, but you could always just buy some Satoshis, right? And nobody needs to know, right? Nobody knows about the Satoshis because it's on chain, right? Nobody really cares. They're not watching for you, for your dollars in Bitcoin. You just don't tell anybody, right?
Exactly.
That's it.
Simple as.
Okay, this one's
Vanguard. Yeah.
You want to read this for the people?
Yeah, 4 major institutions all moved towards Bitcoin immediately after the market forced out the weakest holders. Yeah, the timing wasn't subtle. Exactly. So we were discussing this off camera earlier, saying what happened the last 2 weeks didn't feel like a random volatility. It felt like a closing chapter of a classic Wall Street shakeout. Yeah, think about this. Vanguard, by the way, the old CEO, we will never touch Bitcoin, sacked. The new CEO, maybe let's think about it. The market crashes. Vanguard, oh yeah, we now want to allow our clients to purchase the Bybit, which is the BlackRock ETF. And then Bank of America says, oh, we recommend 4% allocation to our clients. And I'm like, wow, speaking of timing, Bitcoin goes.
They have to buy first, right?
Exactly. That was very interesting. I mean, I'm sure, I had a bunch of conversation on the matter and people saying, no, the Vanguard application, it was been months in the making. Yeah, whatever. I mean, but it does sound a bit sketchy, right? If you think about it. So very interesting that all those banks, JP Morgan, Vanguard, Sachs, and these guys are coming in now just when the market corrects.
Yeah. Well, they know people want it. So hold on. Let's load our boats first so that we can charge you extra fees and pretend our fees are this small.
Exactly.
Oh, damn. Yes. It's ridiculous, right? Because actually, what you don't know, right? It occurred when back in 2008. And what most people don't know is that the Bank of New York Mellon, right? Let's go to the bigger screen because I'm gonna go into the small story, right? What most people don't know is the Bank of New York Mellon was caught red-handed committing an absolute crime. What they were doing, they were purchasing assets ahead of the clients, right? And then settling the price at a higher price later on at the end of the day, right? So they would give them an end of day price, which was significantly higher, right? And this was outright fraud, right? And clear. But because the company's full income was dependent on this complete fraud, what they did was they just made it legal for them to rob people.
Damn.
Because they were too big to fail. So they just changed the laws. So now all your major institutions can now legally rob you, right? By not giving you the fair and actual price of the asset.
There you go.
There it is.
Wow.
And then pretend that they're only taking a small fee.
When in fact they're controlling the whole market, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's what most people just don't know, right? It is what it is, right? Right, and nothing you can do about it because you don't got the gold, right? So make sure you do, right? By holding Bitcoin, because they can't do anything about Bitcoin except hold it. So, and they only can get it from other people who sell. So make sure you got some. Okay, let's listen to Michael Saylor, right? The true CEO of strategy who stepped down, but he's the captain.
Banks in the world to embrace crypto, to embrace Bitcoin in 4 to 8 years would be fast. What you see here is it's happening much faster. What we've seen is BNY Mellon, PNC Bank, Citibank, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Vanguard, all of these have flipped from a hostile, negative, or skeptical view to a positive view in the last 12 months, right? We have announcements. Schwab is going to custody Bitcoin and extend credit against crypto assets early next year. Citi is doing the same thing. It used to be, I couldn't get a loan against Bitcoin from any major bank. And now, if I counted the top 10 banks in the United States, eight of them are actually engaged in crypto lending, and they've all flipped their stance in the last 6 months. So,
Yep. Boom.
Not too bad.
What do you think about that?
8 out of 10 banks have flipped bullish. That's pretty
bullish.
awesome. Yeah.
So what that means, right, for the dumb, deaf, and retarded, right, is that people can now borrow against their Bitcoin. They don't need to, sell it in order to gain access to the liquidity of that asset anymore, right, from a major institution, right? Now, be careful, of course. You need to probably give them your Bitcoin, and that means
Custody.
you don't have a ownership of that Bitcoin. And they do, and that means they'll do nasty things with that Bitcoin to make sure that you get screwed over. So keep that in mind, right? So make sure you have a plan of attack, a plan should they do the attack on your assets. So I would only do 20% of your total net worth, borrow against 20%. So for example, if Bitcoin's at 100,000. And you got 10 Bitcoin, you're only going to borrow against 2, right? 2 Bitcoin.
Exactly. And and on those two, you only borrow a percentage. You don't borrow, because some of the lenders give you up to 80%, but I wouldn't advise to do that. I would advise to stay lower, right? Like you said. So the chance of getting liquidated is getting lower.
Yeah. It works this way, actually. It works a little bit different than the way you think, right? So you're going to borrow 200,000. And so you, whatever it is, like let's just say you do 50%. So you then you give them 4 Bitcoin, right? But you still have 10 in total, and you're still borrowing against the full 20%. And so when price drops down, so that you need to cover, you could add the more. You can give them more Bitcoin, right? If the price drops down, if the price drops down, you give them more, right? It's just so that to protect yourself from being liquidated, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all. That's how you would do it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And different lenders have different policies. I've spoken to a bunch like Salt and other guys, and some people, they give you up to 80%, but like Davinci is saying, just don't do that, please, because that's really risky. You might as well do just 20, 30%, which is enough. Otherwise, you will 100% get liquidated, especially if we are about to face some downside potentially, then you will feel it, right? And if you don't have any collateral to put back in, then your Bitcoins are gone.
Yeah, so I think a $20,000 Bitcoin is not likely, so you don't have to worry about that.
I agree.
And then you could just, whatever, make sure that you add to the liquidity pool, right, as needed, right, and then
in case of volatility comes in, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know what? The 26-minute, 51% wiped out. That depended Trump's. The wiped out that deepened Trump's crypto's woes. Oh my God, come on, man. This is like, look. Get out of crypto, Bloomberg, get out of crypto. No. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. I don't have much to say on that one. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Okay, statistical argument for why you should invest in BTC in one simple table with 16 data points. Okay, so this guy is doing the power law thing, right? But you know what? This is a key point right here. The model's strength lies in its resilience to historical shocks, offering a statistical case for long-term holding. Though it assumes trend continuity without accounting for potential black swan disruptions like regulatory overhauls, or even, let's be honest, right? A super black swan, right, would be a solar flare, right, which is possible.
Yeah, we've seen it in the past. Yeah, I agree.
We've had it in the past, right?
Yeah,
and that wouldn't damage Bitcoin per se, but it would have the perception that it did, right? That's the key thing. It would have the perception, which would be a black swan event, right? Because you damn sure know the media would be like, for all those companies, right? Those companies that we pointed out here, all these companies where they are, right here. All these would be coming out, not them themselves, but paying the mainstream media to say Bitcoin has collapsed due to the full solar flare. We're safe because we have our things behind, Faraday cages and blah, 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 yada, 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 wah, 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 like Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's records are everywhere. No, don't listen to that.
Yeah, exactly. Read our news. Forget everything else. Yeah.
So that, just be prepared for that. This is the key point, right? This is a very important point, right? Because the market will do this. If the solar flare doesn't do this, the market generally does, right? And they plan, they plot, and try and scheme in order to get this to happen one way or another. They're probably not going to do it manually by going, oh yeah, we're going to throw some nukes in the sun and cause a solar flare. No. Not saying that, right? But they'll do something, you know what I mean? To get the price down.
100%. After all, they have to convince the paper hand to sell. So how do they convince people to sell? Well, they make up some news.
Exactly. All right, let's listen.
But the reality is the banking system in this country is absolutely antiquated. It doesn't work. It's costly. It's slow as hell. I would have never been in crypto had we not been debanked and deplatformed by absolutely everyone. If I wasn't getting the letters from Capital One saying, congratulations, 300 of your accounts are gone overnight, believe me, I wouldn't have found this industry. But this is an industry that within a year, everybody's going to be in. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody, every bank, every consumer, because this is just the way of the future. And it's an honor to be part of it. And frankly, I'm glad my father's leading the way on it, because otherwise one of the other countries would get it. And I'm glad I look at the 401ks and I see how much they've gone up. And I'm glad I look at inflation and see how much it's gone down. I'm glad interest rates are going to come down. I mean, we're getting our country back. But the reality...
Okay, there's a lot of FUD there. But anyways, interest rates down and they're getting the country back. Okay, whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. Inflation down is like, Eric, you okay there? But I mean... he said the same thing in Vegas when he spoke into the VIP lounge, and he basically said, "I've been debanked multiple times. My accounts have been frozen. So then this is how I found crypto, right?" So definitely he's gone through that. Interesting.
Yes, exactly. And here's the thing, right? Can you imagine doing, like, you have a lot of bank accounts, right? You have a lot of different corporate accounts, right? Pretend you have your corporation and you have a lot of corporate accounts, right? So you incorporate yourself, you incorporate, whatever. Doesn't matter. And because you're involved in Bitcoin or involved in anything that they don't like, all your accounts close. Everything that you've set up, all your processes, your payment systems, everything that you've done is gone.
Yeah.
Right? And because somebody decided, no.
I won't allow you to have this.
Right? Now, this is not from committing a crime, right? Being lawful, just because the bank, if you read the fine print, it says, hey, you know what? If we don't like you for any reason, we could say get lost, get out of here, right? That is the agreement you have with your bank, right?
The paper you sign when you open the account.
Exactly. So don't be surprised if they do that to you, right? Hey, some more. Trump's son's Bitcoin venture shed about 40% of its value in crypto turmoil. Financial Times, stay away from Bitcoin. Financial Times, stay away from Bitcoin.
Yeah, another banger right there.
Jesus.
You want to probably do the inverse, right, of what Financial Times says.
Jesus.
Damn.
Jesus.
They don't take a break.
Okay, let's see here. It's pretty crazy that one Argentina peso is worth Less than 1 sat. Oh, that's coming to a US dollar near you.
Damn.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming. Right? Basically, right? Their valuation, look at that. It's 137 trillion for one Bitcoin. Million. Sorry. Did I say trillion? Billion. Million.
Unbelievable, though.
Jesus.
There are places like Argentina or even Turkey where they have a huge inflation problem. Huge.
Jesus.
It's not going to get any better, by the way. And like you said, the dollar is suffering the same disease, but it's a little bit, quote unquote, better compared to other places like the peso.
Yes, you're right. It is suffering the same disease, right? Mm-hmm. And let's take a look at the inflows. Well, not bad. A little bit of inflows in Bitcoin. And let's take a look at Ethereum.
Yeah,
And,
check it, because I've seen there was a 140. There you go, December 3rd. Boom. This is Bitcoin number.
This is big. This is Ethereum.
Yeah, this is Ethereum, but this is Bitcoin numbers. 140 on December 3rd. Boom. That's a lot of money coming in.
Yeah, but nothing came in on the 4th.
Yeah, because it takes
It is the
24
4th,
hours, right?
Yeah.
So we can see tomorrow what happens today. I wonder if they're going to add Chainlink and Solana and
Solana is seeing some negative numbers, right, for the first time in a while, right? During the dump, right, it was seeing positive.
Yeah, 10, 58, 53. It's not bad. I've heard XRP has gone in. Pretty interesting.
This is top profit taking, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay. Well,
Interesting.
Okay, well, let's go to Q&A.
Let me go back full screen. There you go.
Okay.
Did we save a few? Yes. TSATS to $1.
Yes, it's coming. Once the US dollar, right, it's 100 million for one Bitcoin. Yes, right.
Exactly. Remember, guys, that TSATS is pegged to Bitcoin, right? So whatever happens to Bitcoin happens to TSATS.
Exactly.
Indeed. Threshold. Any news lately?
Well, I mean, the reason why we're answering this question is because TSATS backed up with Threshold's TBTC. And if you're interested in buying T, which is the token for Threshold, then you can do so. And they were supposed to announce something with some major project, but I haven't seen anything yet.
Nice. Thank you for that. Is Bitcoin going down a lot next year? ?
We won't know the answer to that based on the charts, basically. Based on charts analysis. The clear answer to that will come, right? If we break out, if we don't, we have to see what happens in the next little while. So price has to come up to or go beyond a certain level, and then if it comes back down and breaks below a certain level, which we will talk about in another show, then we'll know whether or not price will go down. Technically, can go down a lot next year. Now, if we go based on cycles, according to cycles, we should be going down. If we go based on fundamentals, right? Meaning we have regulatory clarity, we have this, we have that, we have, the president's going to have to go through midterms, so he's going to want to pump the markets a little bit. We have all kinds of other things that we could point to and say, hey, there's lots of reasons of why it should go up, right? Yeah, there's lots of fundamental reasons why it can go up and fundamental reasons why it can go down. And there's more fundamental reasons why it will go up next year than there is go down, right? So there we are.
Exactly. What cold wallet do you advise for me to keep my Bitcoin on?
Cold Card is a good one. And then I use also Keystone.
Exactly. With Cold Card, by the way, I don't know if I could, I can't share, but stay tuned because we have some exciting news with Cold Card. I'm just going to say this.
All right. Let's call it a day. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.